Welcome back to the deep dive.
Uh,
Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into terpenoids.
oh, yeah.
I think this is going to be really fascinating. It's a pretty diverse group of natural compounds.
Mhm.
You might not recognize the name terpenoids,
Right.
but you've definitely encountered them. I mean, if you've ever smelled a pine tree or used a muscle rub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're ubiquitous.
So today, we're going to uncover what they are, where they come from, and their powerful medicinal applications.
Yeah.
So think of this as like your quick guide to this vital part of natural chemistry.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So these compounds are all around us, and they're playing a crucial role in nature.
Mhm.
And I think what's really interesting is they have such a huge impact on our health.
Yeah, I mean, so what exactly are terpenoids?
Yeah, so terpenoids, also known as isoprenoids, are organic compounds that are built from these 5 carbon units called isoprene.
Okay.
And you can almost think of them as like these basic building blocks that can be linked together in all sorts of ways.
Like Legos.
It's exactly like Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And we classify them based on the number of isoprene units they have.
Okay.
So, 2 isoprene units gives us a monoterpene,
Okay.
which has 10 carbons. Then you have 3 isoprene units giving us the sesquiterpene, which has 15 carbons,
Okay.
and so on and so forth. You can have, tritetra, even poly.
That just keeps going.
It just keeps going. You can have thousands of these isoprene units.
Wow, so these building blocks create this huge variety of compounds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's remarkable.
So what do they actually do in nature? I mean, what's their purpose?
So in the natural world, they are super vital for plants.
Okay.
They act as defense mechanisms against pests.
Like a natural pesticide?
Exactly. It's like a natural pesticide. They also attract pollinators with their scent,
Okay.
and they can even help plants communicate with their environment.
Interesting.
It's like a really complex chemical language that's going on.
Wow, that's so cool. Now I came across something called the isoprene rule.
Right.
Can you tell me, like, what's the basic idea behind that?
Yeah, so the isoprene rule, it basically describes how these 5 carbon units typically link up.
Okay.
And usually it's in a head-to-tail fashion.
Okay.
So almost like you're connecting train cars.
Okay.
However, like most things in nature, there's exceptions.
Yeah, always an exception.
And there are these really fascinating exceptions, like the tail-to-tail linkage
Okay.
that occurs during the formation of squalene, which is pretty interesting.
So where can we find these terpenoids? I mean, we talked about pine trees.
Yeah.
Where else would we find them?
They are widespread, but they're especially concentrated in the essential oils of plants.
Okay.
And that's often what gives them their really strong aromas and scents.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you think about like the refreshing aroma of peppermint.
Yeah.
Well, that's largely due to menthol,
Right.
which is a monoterpene,
Oh,
or
right.
the zesty smell of lemon.
Yes.
Well, that's thanks to lemon, which is another monoterpene.
Okay.
But it's not just plants.
Okay.
We also find terpenoids in fungi, insects, and even marine life.
Wow. I
Oh.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So some other examples, you have sweet wormwood, which contains artemisinin,
Yeah.
and the Pacific yew tree, which gives us paclitaxel.
Now, artemisinin and paclitaxel, those are well known for their medicinal uses, right?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So artemisinin, which is a sesquiterpene from sweet wormwood,
Right.
it's a really potent antimalarial drug.
Wow.
And it actually works by generating these free radicals that damage the malaria parasite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then you have paclitaxel, which is a complex deuterpene,
Right.
and this one comes from the Pacific yew tree.
Yeah.
And this is actually a crucial anti-cancer drug.
Wow.
And it works by stabilizing microtubules and inhibiting mitosis.
Okay.
So it basically prevents cancer cells from dividing.
That's incredible. And what about those lemon and peppermint compounds, lemon and menthol?
Oh, yeah, those are great. So the monoterpene found in lemons has
Yes.
been shown to have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties.
Right.
And there's even some research going on looking into its potential anti-cancer effects.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And of course, it's also a common flavoring agent.
Right.
Then you have menthol,
Yeah.
which is from peppermint.
Right. It gives you that cooling sensation.
Yeah, it creates that really nice cooling sensation that we feel in cough drops and muscle rubs.
Yeah.
And so it acts as this mild pain reliever, and it can help with congestion.
Okay, cool. So how do organisms actually produce these diverse terpenoids? I mean, is there like a factory inside?
Yeah, so there's actually 2 main pathways.
Okay.
The first one is called the mevalonate pathway, or the MVA pathway.
Okay.
And this one occurs in the cytosol and the endoplasmic reticulum of the cell.
Okay.
And it's responsible for creating the precursors for things like sesquiterpenes and triterpenes.
Okay.
The other pathway is called the methylerythritol phosphate pathway.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, yeah. It's also known as the MEP pathway.
Okay.
And this one occurs in plaskids, which are specialized compartments within plant cells.
Okay.
And this pathway produces precursors for monoterpenes and diterpenes.
Okay.
So you can almost think about them as two different internal factories making different sets of terpenoid building blocks.
So two separate production lines.
Exactly. Two separate production lines.
That's interesting. Are there other ways that we use terpenoids beyond medicine?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
So squalene, which is a triterpene
Okay.
that's used in cosmetics as a moisturizer.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then geraniol, which is a monoterpene.
Right.
That's actually used in perfumes and as an antimicrobial agent.
So we see them in like fragrances and flavorings and all these different health and wellness products.
Absolutely. It seems like they're everywhere.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like there's still a lot to learn about these compounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's on the horizon for terpenoid research?
Oh, it's a really active field.
Okay.
Researchers are constantly looking for new terpenoids
Right.
that have potential as drugs,
Right.
especially against infections that are becoming resistant to current treatments.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of work being done on how to produce these compounds more efficiently
Oh, okay.
using biotechnology, and scientists are also investigating whether combinations of different terpenoids might be more effective than single compounds.
Oh, that's interesting. So as you can see, terpenoids are much more than just pleasant smells. They are fundamental components of the natural world, and they have these huge implications for medicine and just our everyday lives.
And I think that leads to a really interesting question to think about. Given the incredible variety of terpenoids and our growing ability to understand and even manipulate these biological systems, what other surprising medicinal or practical applications might we discover in the future by continuing to explore this fascinating class of compounds?
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It does.
So thanks for listening to The Deep Dive,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.